And you're like that!
Where am I?
A small room, bright lights, a white wall,
A metal door.
Oh
my God!
Imagine you wake up and you're in a jail cell. You go up to the door.
You bang your fist.
Screaming!
Shouting! What am I doing here?
And imagine the police guy comes up to the door.
And he's like,
Keep it down!
you'd be like,
What did I do?
Oh,
do you not know?
You shake your head.
What?
and the police guy looks at you like you're pure fuck or something.
Imagine he looks at you and he goes,
You're getting charged for attempted murder, little man. You'd be like,
Oh no. What did I do?
that's when you start remembering everything. Right from the beginning. You would try to remember.
How did I get here?
So you'd start remembering your dad. He was a woman beater. He beat your mum every day. From the day they got married,
da 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 da.
right up to the day they got divorced. He used to beat her to a pulp. So she stopped working. She was embarrassed. She did not want to walk down the street with her face all black and blue.
And you'd remember that your mum didn't want you to grow up to be like him.
She wanted you to be a famous lawyer.
Or a famous doctor.
Or a famous whatever.
You remember? You were poor. But you weren't poor.
Because your mum made sure there was dinner on the table every night.
She'd give you her last penny. She did not care about herself.
But you'd remember that you never really spoke to her.
She'd come home from school and go straight up the stairs.
Oh!
Oh!
James,
Yeah?
your dinner's out.
I'm coming.
Oh!
Ah!
Grab the plate.
Thanks, Ma. Ow!
Oh!
Back up the stairs.
So you never really spoke to her.
You'd remember your granddad.
He was the closest thing you had to a proper father.
He put you under his wing. He did everything a proper dad would do.
He held your hand.
He'd walk you down to the shops.
He'd play daft little games with you.
But best of all, he'd take you to the Rangers game
Every Saturday! Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya?
He'd take you to see the Orange Waltz, and he taught you to play the flute.
But you were not to play the sash or to hang the Ulster flag out your window. He taught you to keep that kind of thing to yourself.
But then he got his cancer. You'd remember that.
So every night you'd sit with him.
Play a game of cards.
Do a jigsaw. Have a cup of tea. And look out the back window.
You'd see the boys from your scheme fighting the boys from the scheme down the road.
They fun at each other with bottles and bricks. Then it would be pearls and baseball bats. And then it would be knives. And you'd be looking out the window going,
Is that a small boy with a sword? Am I really seeing this?
and then your grandfather would just be like, what are they fighting for?
Because your granddad never went round and started
Hitting people.
He got his point across with his mouth, not his hand. He just had to speak to you.
And people would listen.
And you'd remember growing up always wanting to be like him. But you didn't have many pals growing up.
Because you were too quiet. You were shy.
You were the little, shy,
Nerdy boy. You didn't fit in with anybody. And the friends
Plus, if it was a pure, brilliant, sunny day. They'd leave you alone inside the house. But if it was raining, they'd come to your door.
All right, James.
Haven't seen you in ages.
How have you been?
Can we come and sit?
They don't really care about you. They just needed somewhere to sit.
And say it was at school.
You would get beaten up for being a goth because you had long hair and wore black combats. They used to call you
Look at him.
You dirty goth.
Do you shag dead people? What? Yeah, you hang around the graveyards. No,
You do.
We've seen you.
pure digging up the coffins and raping the corpses. You dirty beast. You'd remember the beatings.
One of the bullies would take off his belt, wrap it around his knuckles, and whack you a bit.
They'd throw you down the stairs. Don't kick you in the ribs. Stop it. Death to the gimp.
Then they would swagger off and leave you there, lying in the pool. You'd remember that. You'd remember every punch. And you remember you had no one to turn to.
Because your granddad was in hospital.
Sit in your room. All alone. And watch horror.
night after night.
Or read books about serial killers.
Or just look at the pictures. No! Stop! Please!
The power of Christ compels you.
No!
You had a bloodlust for it. It gave you a thrill reading about killers.
Because they're normal people.
But they're mysterious.
What makes them tick? What makes them go insane?
What could make somebody do that to somebody else?
It fascinated you.
Imagine you're in your jail cell. Whoosh, whoosh. All this is going through your head,
But you can't remember what you've done.
They take you to a secure care unit.
And they take away your belt. And they take away your laces.
Anything you could use
to try and kill yourself.
And the key worker guy comes in. And you're like,
What did I do?
Son, I can't tell you.
How can you not tell me?
You need to ask for the file. So you ask for the file.
And he goes to get it.
imagine waiting for him to come back.
Your mind would be racing.
Remembering one night you got beaten up just for having long hair.
These boys chased you home with meat cleavers
And machetes!
shouting, "Death to the gimp!"
They were trying to chop
You up! All the way to your veranda. Hi, James.
Up the stairs.
How?
And into your bedroom.
Slam!
You'd look at yourself.
I am not a gimp.
You get a pair of scissors.
And cut your hair pure short.
Oh,
You shoot right down to the skin.
James,
You'd look at yourself.
your dinner's out.
I'm coming. I'll show them not to mess with me!
And that's when you started watching films like Romper Stomper.
And American History X.
And you thought to yourself,
That's what I'll do!
You start wearing the big Doc Martin boots.
and the bomber jacket.
The braces.
Everything.
And when you went into school,
The kids were like, oh, he's a pure psycho!
but it felt good because you were getting to them.
And you do the Nazi salute.
And all the teachers were like,
Get outside this classroom! Because I like it.
Go home and change into your proper clothes.
You're not allowed back into school until you change your clothes.
Fine! It's my life! I'll say what I want, I'll wear what I want, I'll do what I want!
and so you got a fag and started walking around the school.
Acting like a hard man.
And when you saw the bullies,
Instead of running away.
Come on, who's first?
What are you gonna do, you idiot?
2 seconds.
What?
you take the fag and put it out your bare skin.
Right, who's first?
James?
I'll put my hand behind my back.
Are you alright? You need to get your head sorted out,
mate.
You're not right.
So you pick up a chair.
And throw out the fucker!
Ah!
He starts punching you.
Fist flying!
They all start battering you.
James, what are you doing?
This is unlike you!
And you stood there with your face red raw.
But it feels good, doesn't it?
You remember that's when the punches stopped hurting you.
You started loving pain.
Had to get that energy flowing.
That blood pumping. And you sit there in your room with your posters on the wall.
Listen to that music.
With that guitar.
And the beat that gets you right into it. And you imagine what it's like to burst open someone's lip.
Slice them open.
Or butcher them!
It made you feel high and mighty, just thinking about it. But then you'd remember the night it finally happened.
It was raining.
James.
That's your mum, calling upstairs.
You don't reply.
You turn off the music.
I'm just going to the hospital to see your granddad. Do you want to come?
Not tonight, Ma.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I want to stay and watch this film.
Do you want to come tomorrow night?
Yeah, Ma. Fine.
Right. I'll tell him you were asking after him.
She goes out into the rain.
You put on a slasher film. Slash! Chop! Rip! Stab!
Blood and guts!
You stare at it blankly. It's not enough for you anymore.
Then there's a knock at the door.
You press pause. You open the door.
All right, James.
All right.
Is your mum in?
No.
Are you on your own?
Yeah.
Big Jim's got an empty!
They all crowd in.
What? A joint! Not now.
What you watching?
It's just a film.
What's that?
That's a swastika, that is.
What you got a swastika on your wall for?
Are you a Nazi or something?
Yes.
Look at you. What are you into all that for?
Because of an area. I've got to protect my white blood.
And how are you going to do that?
Wait till you see this.
You put your hands under the bed and pull out a sword!
Black Mamba.
Where'd you get that?
I found it. Did you fuck?
I'll give you a fiver for it.
No!
Tenner!
Fuck off!
20 quid!
Check the damage you could do with that.
Have you sliced someone yet?
He smiles. So proud.
The psycho.
But then, key in the door. Quick!
Hide the blade! Hide the blade!
Hand Shh! Footsteps on the stairs.
What's going on here?
Nothing, Mum.
Suspicious. You only call her mum when you've done something wrong.
We're just watching a film.
I think it's time your friends went home.
Better! See you later!
James, sit down.
Don't, Ma.
I need to tell you something.
Ma, don't.
Calm down, James.
Don't.
I'm sorry, James. It happens.
That's the night. You always remember.
The day that your granddad died.
Just needed a friend.
Someone told.
Down to the ground. And stabbed their eyes out. Hit them with a baseball bat. Or scalp their hide off.
All that anger.
You could feel it building up.
And you didn't have a way.
Let it.
Imagine, this is all happening. You're in your jail cell, sitting there, with no belt, and no laces.
Then the key worker guy comes in with your file.
Ding.
Ding!
He hands it to you and you start to read.
But you can't concentrate on the words.
So you ask him.
Do read it for you.
What does it say? Don't just tell me!
Assault.
Arson.
Attempted murder.
Do you really not remember?
Some of it.
Why didn't you tell me?
What happened?
So you start to
Right.
tell the story from the beginning. Where were you?
You were in town. Change.
Who were you with? You with your pals.
You pals. People, they knew, but you didn't know them.
Starts coming back to you. One of them hands you a big bottle of vodka.
Drink it straight.
Drink it straight.
How?
Just do it!
Nah, hey, there's something wrong with this.
It tasted weird.
There was ecstasy.
And Valium.
You didn't know what was in it. By the time your friends came back, you were in a right state.
1 minute you'd be like a Dr. Jekyll. And then
Mr. Hyde!
you'd be like,
Where have you been? I've been pure missing you.
and then
Leave me here, yeah? And we come over there and smash you about!
Calm down. I think it's time we took you home.
and all you can hear is screaming.
It's like
Being in a dream.
being away at the same time.
You see your fists flying. James, stop! This isn't like you!
Kick it.
James.
And you feel your hands round
that you did that to somebody.
You just wanted payback.
But the payback you did didn't solve anything.
You were just hurting so much.
Instead, you nearly killed somebody that night.
You'd remember it all.
Then they take you in front of a court.
Put you in front of the judge.
And she says,
Son, I see thousands of boys like you.
Every year.
all committing the same sorts of crimes.
And they can be here for anything up to 10 years.
And you're standing there, shaking like a leaf.
10 years. Please don't. That's me finished.
And then she says,
But some of them,
I look at them standing there.
And I know they don't belong in jail.
They just made a stupid mistake. They deserve a second chance. She looks you right in the eye. You're one of the lucky ones.
I'm going to give you a probation sentence. 3 years.
Thank you!
But if you mess up during that time, I will make sure you stay in here for 10 years.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You may leave my courtroom.
You are free to go. So you walk out into the pure, brilliant sunshine.
And you see your mum standing there waiting.
She looks at you, and you look at her. How is she ever going to trust you again?
Mum, I'm sorry.
She bursts out, greeting!
What are you going to do with yourself?
Imagine that all that happened to you. What would you do? You know what I would do? I would start to talk. Because when I got angry, I nearly lost everything. And all I really wanted was for someone to sit up and take notice.
Aww.
Then I would go home.
And take down all my posters.
Get rid of all my knives.
Look at myself in the mirror.
And try to imagine.
What happens next?
You know what I'd do? I'd go home. And I'd get into bed.
Pull up the covers.
Turn out the lights. Blackout.
Give out.
Can I ask?